You are listening to the FitFarm podcast, the place for all things fitness, grappling, and martial arts. I'm your host, Joseph Aronson.
And I'm Jackie Baker. It's time to get jacked.
What's up, everybody? I am here with Brazilian Jiu Jitsu black belt and academy owner, James O'Connor. James, how you doing?
Doing great. How about you?
Doing great, man. Some good rolls before we came here. That was nice.
Awesome idea. Yeah.
Yeah, and then we've got your friend.
Yeah, my buddy here, Andrew, made the trip.
I made it. 2.5 hours, we made it.
Yeah, Andrew Mahoney. No, you're the guy behind the camera, right?
I
a
am.
lot of videos.
Yes, sir.
And some of the instructionals too, right?
Yeah, so for my YouTube channel, Instagram, a lot of stuff that I post, Andrew videos, he does videos with me and then edits and gets it back to me and we put it up.
Nice. Okay. Now, can we give everybody just a little background about yourself for the people that don't know who you are that are listening?
Yeah, absolutely. So, my name is James O'Connor. At 12 years old, I started getting into martial arts just because I was getting bullied. And my mom threw me in martial arts to help combat that. And as a result, I was 12, now I'm 37. Can't do the math that quick. But
25.
Here I am this many years later, still super involved and have sort of evolved into more of a jiu-jitsu athlete now. And so like I said, when I first got involved in martial arts, I was doing just Taekwondo and
Standard, right?
Yeah, that's what was around in 92, call it, I guess, and absolutely loved it. And I still remember where I was sitting when the first UFC came out. Couldn't believe this Royce guy, nobody could knock him out. Kick this dude in the head. And when he totally transformed martial arts as we know it. So then I got into MMA after Taekwondo. I had my first MMA fight when I was 15 or 16. So it was like super, again, that was 95 or 96. And in Northwest Indiana, it was pretty fledgling then,
Oh, yeah.
So I had my first fight and I fought all the way till I was 21. And then about 20, I guess it was 2003. So I was 23. I decided to move to Brazil for 6 months. I didn't know how long I was going to be there. Yeah. But, man, I really loved MMA. I knew if I stayed out here, I wasn't hooked up with any teams that I felt like could take me to that next level of UFC or a big show.
Well, back then, it was really hard to find anyone, at that level, right?
Right. And Chicagoland was, it was nice because it was a little bit more forward than the movement of – they called it NHB then even, no holds barred. It was a little bit more forward thinking than where I was from. But and that was, one of my favorite memories was being able to fight in a tournament where they don't do that anymore, where it's like 2 fights in a night to win. Sometimes it was 3. So I did a couple tournaments like that. But anyways, I moved. I thought maybe if I went to Brazil, I could hook up with the team. Brazilian top team is where I went and trained at for 6 months. And I did a ton of training there while I was in Brazil. And really, I walked away from that falling in love with jiu-jitsu more. So when I came back to the States, I had a group of guys that we all trained together. And my buddy Patrick Robinson, he was under Jack McVicker at the time, who was under Megaton, who was under Hoyler Gracie. So it's sort of my lineage. And we would just get together and train. We would go maybe do a private lesson with Jack, who was an awesome black belt. And then we come back and just train 5-6 days a week, kind of working on what we were told to, from a private lesson. So we didn't have black belts to train under at the time.
Sure, but you went right down to the source. I mean, there are a lot of very competitive people down there, right?
Yeah, I remember the first time I walked into the gym down there, Brazilian top team. I walked in to check it out, and Mario Sperry, one of the Nogueira brothers, Ricardo Arona, and man, I think there's one other Murillo Bustamante. They were all there training. Like I walked in on them training. One of them was getting ready for a pride fight. Again, it was like 2003. So that was amazing.
The intensity was probably through the roof too, right?
Yeah, and then the strategy and the game plan that they were developing for, I think it was Nogueira was fighting, and it was just fun to watch those high level guys like break down some strategy and spar, and it was awesome.
Dude, yeah. Well, like you said, and back then you couldn't find a black belt around here ever. I mean, that would have been impossible. So, you go in there, man, that was probably a game changer for you, right?
Yeah, and I was only a white belt, so it was.
So you got to be tossed around quite a bit.
Yeah, it was purple belts and up. I couldn't tell the difference. They were all so good.
Oh,
but
man.
Yeah.
What was it that made you want to start just training? Parlay from Taekwondo straight to no holds bar? Was it the UFC one that did it? You saw that first fight, and you're like,
it's weird. It's a good question because before I got involved in martial arts, I remember that I was a really weak, soft kid, and I couldn't. Our warm up for gym was to run down to a track and one time around, so a quarter mile. I could never do that. Like I couldn't run down and make it around the track one time. I was just so weak.
I still probably couldn't do that at 24 years old. If that makes you feel any better.
I could definitely jog it, man. I don't know about a sprint.
I'm kidding.
But yeah, I don't know. I got into martial arts and Taekwondo, and like 3 weeks into it, I was like, this is what I'm gonna do for the rest of my life. I don't know why that brought out the perseverance to overcome. And as you know, doing jiu-jitsu, it's
Now, did that help your confidence quite a bit too, as a kid getting right into that? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, especially in high school, I was doing MMA fights.
Oh,
and nobody else even trained martial arts. Then. So it was it was a nice feeling walking the halls, feeling pretty safe. And
Did you wrestle too then? I mean,
no, like I just did martial arts and I was teaching for my instructor. So after school from 3 p.m. till 9 p.m., I was at a martial arts school. So I really didn't have time to try extracurriculars.
That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, it's so big around here because you grew up this area-ish, right? Indiana or Chicagoland. So I mean, the Midwest is huge on wrestling, right?
Absolutely.
I mean, yeah. So it's kind of cool to see how people are starting to transition into jiu-jitsu when they're done with wrestling, and you can almost tell when you're at a tournament or something. You can see someone, you're like, all right, he's a wrestler.
Yeah,
he's not. He's a guard puller.
Right. Absolutely.
Now, when did you decide to focus just on the jiu-jitsu part of it then?
Yeah, I guess when I came back from Brazil, I just came back and just did gi jiu-jitsu. I mean, that was all I was interested in. I did some stand-up here and there, and then I tore my ACL maybe a couple years after that. It wasn't too long, and because of just a torn ACL, a lot of my stand-up wrestling, just stand-up striking has been pretty tough for me to do. I feel really unstable, so I truthfully I don't even train that much now. I can do everything on the ground really well. I don't feel too unstable there. But, just injuries you work around, and I'm too scared to get the surgery because the recovery time is going to be so long that...
Oh, yeah, the time off.
Yeah. I'm
just
terrified of that.
Yeah, afraid of that downtime. What is it, like 8 weeks or something of nothing, or is it longer?
Here's the challenge, man. Every time I read about it, jiu-jitsu specific, everyone has a different story because I know we're all different, so I can't quite get my mind wrapped around a certain number, and that's part of the problem. If somebody could tell me 8 weeks and you'll be back in the mat at least drilling... maybe I'd consider it, but
yeah, it's kind of all over, right?
Yeah.
So you started training in the gi for right away, right? I mean, so you went from MMA to the gi.
Yep.
How did that feel, man? You feel very restrictive?
Yeah,
back then?
Well, when I was doing MMA, I look back, I wasn't really doing jiu-jitsu even. Yeah, I mean, it was so low level, my understanding what I was doing. I look back, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'd smash my 20-year-old self with one hand now. Just 'cause I didn't know anything.
It was just, it was just moving around, punching, right? Yeah. I mean, now, did you have a lot of amateur fights then when you were younger? Or?
I had 12 fights total. Wow. So it was, I look at guys now, though, and that's nothing.
Oh, sure. I mean, that's what you got to do to work your way up to that, though. Yeah. Did you ever take like a pro fight, too, or was it kind of...
No.
Back then, it was probably harder to even find that.
Yeah,
right?
It was just weird then because there was no commission. There was no... Literally, they'd throw up a boxing ring in the back of like a bar outside.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're lucky if you made $100 if you won.
Yeah.
I remember guys signing up there, signing the waiver, drinking a beer, and in between rounds taking a smoke. I mean, it was just no...
Hardcore.
Yeah.
Right. Did you have weight classes
still
too?
Be like that.
Yeah, right.
they just looked at you and you're like, you guys are about the same size. You'll fight each other today. So it was not. There's no.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude.
absolutely.
So fast forward to your jiu-jitsu journey now. Were you right away into competing in that too, or did that kind of wait?
Not really competing. I think I competed once or twice as a blue belt, and then a little bit more in purple and brown, and even after I'm not a huge competitor. I like it. I always grow from it, but I just love being in the lab working and
I just love learning, man. I mean, you got to get the experience. You have to do it. You have to compete. I mean, you guys both know you have to compete at some point. But I just love learning it, man. And
absolutely,
in doing it in class or with friends, a good company, you're gonna learn and you're gonna help each other out. And like you said, competing's fun, but it's a lot of toll on you too, especially.
It does, yeah.
Kids or work and everything else. It's really hard. You got to make weight. You got to take the weekend off. You got to pay the money.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean, the lab's where it's at, man. I feel you there. So who were you training under as far as when you're doing gi? in
So
progressing?
my friend Patrick Robinson, he was under Jack McVicker, so we were all kind of under Jack, and then Patrick had broke away from Jack, and after that, we all still continued to train together. Me, Patrick, there's a group of guys that we were just always training together.
Yeah.
And then after Patrick had gotten his black belt and broken away, he awarded me my black belt in year skate 2013.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
5 years ago now.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then he had also brought in one time for a seminar a gentleman, Octavio Couto. He's Brazilian but lives in Texas. And then after he brought him in a few times, I had gotten my first stripe on my black belt from Octavio because Patrick wasn't able to give a stripe at that time.
So he
according to
wasn't like a
IBJJF.
second degree or something, right? Yeah.
Right. So now I do, because I got my first stripe under Octavio, and I keep bringing Octavio in. He's someone that's helped me grow my jiu-jitsu a ton. His concepts are just so different than most people I've encountered. So
yeah. Now, do you catch yourself going to a lot of seminars too, or
I do. I'm totally open to going to seminars, just like anybody else. I have some favorites. I've been to so many huge names now that what I gravitate towards, again, like for example, when Octavio comes, he shares concepts. I'm really interested in learning concepts instead of just a trick of the day kind of.
Yeah, this is the move today. Let's do it 1,000 times, right? Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting because now you can expand, from a concept, you can expand and make it your own, right?
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, if you're going to go somewhere and learn a cross choke from the guard, you're going to do a cross choke from the guard 1,000 times, and you can still maybe make that into your own too, but a concept has it's like more open-ended.
Yes,
right?
exactly.
Yeah. So what are some of your favorites that you've been to, or some of the
I always try to do a private lesson if I can as well. So like Braulio Estima, I went to a seminar. It was good, and then I did a private lesson with him that, he was known for triangles, and I loved the triangle that time. I was a purple belt, and I still remember there was this one move, the basic push-through triangle, whether it's gi or no gi. He taught me something that it sticks with me. I see nobody else teaching it.
Share the secrets. Share it.
Keep it in.
You think training under him, he would teach you everything. He doesn't.
Nope. You got to hold back some of it, right? I mean,
it's like that, for example, like that'll always stick with me. I did a private with Guy Mendez after I did a seminar. I felt like, so I rolled with him, and I was having to like hold vomit in my mouth. I was so exhausted trying to do anything.
That dude's so active, right? He doesn't stop moving.
And
right?
I got to tell you, it's like, it didn't even, like when you watch, he didn't need to be with me. Levels, man. He was like breathing through his nose, just walking right through my guard. I'm doing everything I can. I train 2 or 3 times a day.
Were you a black belt when you did that? When you trained with them?
Oh yeah. I was a black belt. Didn't seem like it.
Mendez brothers.
Yeah, I felt embarrassed.
Impressive.
To wear a black belt,
I mean, you like, can I give this back?
I know.
Right?
I'll take a white one.
Yeah, right. I mean, the way those guys move, and I've never been to their academy. I almost went. I was on vacation, Valencia, which is kind of close to Los Angeles.
Okay.
But I didn't get to make it to their academy. Did you actually go to the academy, or did you?
No, he came out to, it was like Michigan. I drove way far north of Michigan too.
6 hours or something. Probably.
Yeah, just to do it. Yeah.
Worth it for
dude,
sure.
Tremendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I looked up their privates. I know they're not cheap, but
I know. Yeah.
Just the.
I did it.
Man,
Said I did it.
Yeah, that feeling, dude, it'll blow your mind, right?
Absolutely.
That's when, like you said, there's levels. Like that dude's a world champion how many times,
Yeah.
Yeah, they're insane. Do you have like a favorite style that you gravitate to?
Rafa Mendez, man. If I had a man crush, it'd be him. Like, I can't stay off.
If you had a man crush.
Yeah, right. So that's going to be hashtag MCM. Look out for that, guys, on Instagram, right?
I am banned from his page, but whatever.
there might be a restraining order somewhere involved.
I do run the fan page, so I mean, that's awesome, dude. Their academy looks beautiful too.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've been there, but
All
yeah,
white,
that's cool.
Style is sweet.
Yeah,
You have been to their academy?
No, just pictures, man. It looks awesome. Looks so cool. Now, are there other like legends or people from the game that you've met just through the journey? And
I roll with Hobson Moore. I went to a seminar rolling with him. Again, he was smaller than me. You get that like weird feeling for just a second. You're like, you slap hands, you bump, and you're looking at the size of him, and you're like, wait a minute, maybe
I got a chance, right?
Maybe I have a chance. Like I fooled myself again, and I was a black belt. Like I don't know how that thought even crossed my mind. Yeah. He twirled me like I was a child. I wish I had the video of it because he was doing things I just had no idea. And so Hobson was amazing to roll with. just so technical.
Yeah.
I wonder what goes through their head
Probably
when
nothing.
they're rolling. Yeah, they're just
They're
like,
probably thinking about chores at
yeah, but it's a
home or
black
something.
belt. Obviously, they've been training for a long time. It's someone at that level is
I
training.
think about that too. Like when they
Like,
see another
what are
black
you
belt,
yeah.
are they thinking, is this really a black belt that's going to get me?
Do they
or-
understand the
Yeah.
talent?
Someone at that
How
level, like, like a Mendez or something, or they just see, okay, this guy's this tall, he weighs this much, he's
Yeah.
gonna do this when I do this, and you just
It's
like,
just it's talent. It has
Yeah.
to be naturally talent. There's no
Yeah.
way. I feel like for someone like me or an average Joe, just can't go and learn that.
no, I
You
mean,
know,
you're
no matter
talking
how hard you train,
hours and hours
Yeah.
every day for years that they've been doing.
even
it.
somebody could do it for hours and hours every day and
Mhm.
still not get to that level.
Yeah,
There's got to be a certain extent that's just
Yeah,
it's
I mean,
just talent.
dude, and I bet those guys, I'll bet they're stronger than than anything too. I almost guarantee that.
Yeah.
I mean, you see the Mendez
Easy.
brothers; they look kind of small, but when that gi top comes off, they're freaking
Right.
jacked too.
Absolutely.
I mean, they're strong, they're fast, they got a tank that never quits. They know where
Right.
you're gonna be when you go there. So
It's
it's
just
like,
not fair.
And their
Yeah, it's-
jiu-jitsu doesn't make sense.
yeah,
It's the magic.
it's not fair,
It's
dude.
magic.
It's cheating. Cheater, right? That's why they have masters divisions, right?
Yeah.
You're a little older, you can get away from guys like that.
Right.
Because I got a buddy that just did a tournament at blue belt and got submitted by like a 16-year-old, and he's like almost 30. He's like, I cannot wait to get over 30,
Yeah.
be a masters and get away from these kids,
Right.
because now the way it is with kids, like they can start younger because now it's more popular. Like,
Right.
Like our age, I never even heard of jiu-jitsu till I was like mid-20s,
Yeah.
so it was like whatever that is, and now it's everywhere and kids can learn it, There you go, got one behind you that can
Right.
learn it, or it's crazy. So
Yeah, if they start at 10 and go to 16, because you can't get your blue belt till you're 16. As
Yeah.
soon as they get their blue belt and they're 16, they've trained for 6 years.
yeah,
You know,
that's a
with,
purple belt a lot of times, or
yeah.
even a
Or
brown,
maybe
if they're-
more if they
yeah.
started
Yeah.
7 years old. I don't know.
Yeah, because I got a guy that's trains at AOJ, and I might have him on eventually here, and he's been training, I think, oh man, his dad said like 8 or 10 years or something, but he gets his blue belt when he turns 16. He started at like
Right.
6 or 8 years old.
Okay.
He said that's almost unfair. He's
Right.
got twice as much,
I
3
know.
times as much time training as your typical blue
Good
belt.
for him.
Yeah, oh yeah,
Good
he's
for
gonna
him.
be an animal, man.
Yeah.
And his parents are really behind.
Is
like,
it Jacob?
Jacob?
Yeah,
Yep. You know who he is?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Jacob
dude-
Brown?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah, that kid's a beast. Yeah.
Yeah,
I've
dude.
seen him on Instagram. He's a beast.
Dude, yeah. And so I've been kind of going back and forth with his dad about doing one too, just because, man, he's really involved.
Levels,
He's-
man.
Yeah, there you go. I
Dad
mean,
levels.
yeah, when he turns 16, dude, he's gonna be like a black belt, but he's gonna wear a blue belt.
I know.
So that's rules. IBJJF said so. So
Yeah.
so what's it like now? Fast forward, having your own academy. I mean, how long have you had one?
07 I opened it, and I have like a Taekwondo program just because I'm a 5th degree in that, and that's sort of how what I was teaching first.
Yeah,
you
that was
know?
your first
So,
love, right?
Yeah, and then I already had, when I was teaching for my instructor and I took over that business, I had like a built-in
Like a
student-
curriculum or something.
Yeah, and then just the student population
Oh yeah,
that
student
came
base.
with me, and so I just kept that going, and then added a jiu-jitsu program. Actually, not that long ago. It was only like a year ago. I
Yeah.
tried doing like an MMA program for a little bit, and then a jiu-jitsu program, and I just couldn't quite get it to lift off in numbers
for
So,
MMA wise. right?
Yeah, it's just that age old. They don't want to pay. They just want to come in
They
and
just want to fight.
Yeah.
Get me a fight.
Right.
And they want to be the next guy in the UFC.
absolutely.
But they don't understand that your time is valuable and you have overhead. You got to pay for the building.
Yeah,
the
they
lights.
forget about the lights. Who's paying for the lights? Or they just
Yeah, I mean that's a struggle too, man. Having your own academy is.
right.
I imagine you probably have a lot of things you've dealt with over 10 years with that.
Absolutely.
Do you have kids programs too then?
Oh yeah.
That's probably, honestly, as an academy owner, that's where I would focus because they're the future of this sport too, of the
Right.
martial art. Now, do you teach as far as when you do like the jiu-jitsu curriculum, are you more sport oriented or self-defense oriented, or do you
Yeah,
kinda-
honestly, I'm more sport, and that whole debate is, I feel like it's so polarizing.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is such an awesome thing.
Yeah, it
And
is.
for you to have to pick a side and have these, you see these online just battles between people.
Yeah,
And I'm
it's
like, oh my
exhausting.
gosh, like if you take any person and train them in just sport jiu-jitsu for 6 months, they're going to be okay on the street.
Yeah.
Don't tell me they're going to get knocked out. Don't tell me they're going to, it's ridiculous.
Mhm.
They're going to be okay.
They'll be dangerous,
Yeah.
Why is it that people do that though? Why pick one side?
I don't know. Maybe it's academy owners that say, "Hey, I do self-defense." Like that guy with the sports stuff, ignore
Like,
him. Or
maybe
like,
it's people that have trained one specific type of jiu-jitsu for so long that are
Yeah.
they would be pissed off if it doesn't work, or they're
Yeah.
saying that self-defense doesn't work or whatever.
Yeah, they're set in their way. I mean,
Yeah, right.
Vice versa.
because I think they both go hand in hand. I mean, of course, there's some things that I wouldn't do on the street. I wouldn't pull guard. If I was in a street fight, of course.
I'll tell you what, I would pull guard. I
Yeah.
said it.
You would?
Like I'm
as long as you know you're gonna land okay.
yeah,
yeah.
Like I've trained so much. Why wouldn't I pull guard on the street?
If that's what you're good at, right? If you
Crone Gracie does it in MMA.
Yeah,
Nobody's
that's
saying
true.
anything, and he's winning.
That's true. Who could have done that is Damian Maia. I'm surprised he didn't do
Yeah.
it more.
Right.
When he was fighting
He's a
Tyron Woodley.
beast.
Yeah, I watched him fighting Tyron Woodley, and he was trying to take him down. I'm like, you're not going to take him down because he's such a good wrestler, but maybe you can, get in there and just pull guard and see if he falls into the trap.
Yeah, he's got to engage, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but yeah. So I mean, as long as
Never-ending debate.
Yep, as long as you're falling down safely, I think that's fine too. I don't know about Barambolo on the street. Maybe,
I think I would do it too, though. Like I know it sounds ridiculous.
How awesome would that be if you
Yeah, or
Baron There was just a video actually of some guy and they were
MMA?
fighting over they were
Oh.
fighting over basketball, and the guy got him in a heel hook. And he's
ow.
yeah, they're fighting. He takes him down. It looked like I can't remember. He puts him in like X guard, and then gets him in a heel hook, and he stops. He's like, "I will tear your knees. Like you will never play basketball again, bro."
Yeah, right?
And I was
Game
like,
over.
"Dang!" And the guy I don't think he ever punched him once. So
Right.
It's
Yeah.
like,
I wonder
jiu-jitsu works.
Yeah. I wonder if like a straight ankle lock too. That. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. As long as
Somebody who is
right?
super unfamiliar with it.
You could kick him right in the teeth. You always have your
Yeah.
kicks from that
Yeah.
double
It's
true,
guard
an up
position.
kick or
You'll
something,
be
yeah.
fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
I tap from straight ankle locks.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
tell anybody.
Yeah. Oh, I just saw a couple of blue belts get tapped with them today. So
I'm a white belt, so I still get to ride that excuse for a while.
hey, but you got to be on it now. IBJJF,
Yep.
they're legit. I mean, they're good to go
I
there.
know.
So
James, you teach it. You do a pretty good job with it too.
yeah. Now, do you play a lot of leg lock game too?
I do.
yourself?
So here's something I was discussing. So we were rolling, and the gentleman that was pretty lean with the earring.
Chris. Yeah. Chris.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we were doing some ankle locks and got in that position, and man, I just think that is the strength of like the Mendez brothers or Meows. I think you need to have after a certain level some sort of mastermind relationship with a training partner. Like I have one on the weekends. I have a buddy Alex that we get together and we go deep into technique. So I don't necessarily have a black belt I'm under all the time. So we get together, him and I, and we'll go through phases of we'll take like a Kimura, for example. And there's lots of DVDs and Kimura games out there, but we'll mastermind it together for say 3-4 months. And what I'll do, or what we'll both do, we'll go to other gyms and we'll just play a Kimura game. And every 3 or 4 months we change it up. So then we'll go into an ankle lock kind of phase.
And will you start in that position and then say, hey,
everything's
start the
about
clock,
that.
go? Yeah.
Everything's about that. So we start there, we drill from there, we enter from just to there. And I think that's, if I have any success as far as like training and rolling and being superior to anybody, I have that relationship with him. And I feel like you look at the Mendez brothers, Hoffa and Guy have that relationship
with each other. Yeah. Yeah. And the Meows. Yeah.
So I think that's missing sometimes is just people going a little bit deeper. You had someone on your podcast I was listening to, the kickboxer, not too long ago.
The Bryce
and he was
Frank,
talking about he did a private lesson with somebody and just did a jab for 2 hours.
Yeah. Yep.
That's me. I've logged in on my phone. I do a log of repetitions over 20,000 leg drags.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Just drill, right?
And that didn't take but 4 or 5 months, in all honesty. So
now
imagine if you did that as
Yeah.
part of your training.
Now it's like second nature, right?
Right.
Takes discipline.
And it's funny because a lot of people, they'll end up getting bored doing that, right?
Yeah, right.
And I mean, I get it, but at the same time, do you want to get good at that or no? And
Got to put in the work.
yeah. And the more repetitions you do, the more it's just like second nature,
Right.
Like I guarantee the Mendez brothers, when they do those crazy back takes, they've done that 1,000 times. They know exactly where you're going to be when they put that foot on your hip and the other foot on your knee. And, it's
Yeah, it wasn't twice and they got it. Kind
yeah,
of thing.
yeah,
I got
right.
it, coach.
Yep. Okay, got it. I'm gonna go do it in a tournament now.
Right.
So you're very big on drilling, right? I mean,
Yes. I mean, going live as well, too. So I don't want to be mistaken, but just got to get those reps.
Yeah, and positional, too. I mean, so when you do something like the Kimura game, let's just say, do you start, hey, I'm going to start in side control in a Kimura, and we're going to work from there? Or do you say, hey,
honestly, we do every aspect of it.
okay,
or
guard. Yeah.
Or just do a lot of live rolling, and we're just limited to only doing a Kimura.
This is the only submission we're going to do as a Kimura.
Right.
Yep. I like that. Do you ever do any cross training, too, with other gyms that are out by you?
Yeah, I do. recently I went through another knee injury. I tore my ACL years ago, and I trained through fine. Like I was okay. And then I just recently, I did something to my meniscus. I'm getting checked out on Monday. I think I have a bucket, what do they call it? A bucket handle tear or something,
Okay.
where it gets locked. So if I roll funny on it or someone does, so it's really prevented me. It's deteriorated a lot of my training as far as putting hours in. So,
Okay.
which sucks, but it's part of jiu-jitsu, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
but yeah, I would do a lot of open mats at other schools. I have great relationships with other schools near me, and they're pretty accepting of me coming. So then I would just go into an open mat and be like, okay, in my head, I'm doing my Kimura game.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah. And they're
just,
like, man, why is this guy just
yeah,
one move?
that's all he knows, right?
Yeah.
But 4
Yeah.
months later, it'll be something else, though.
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
clock game.
Yeah, I get that way sometimes too. If I feel like I'm really weak in an area, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna pull guard because
Sure,
I
yeah.
wrestled for so long
Okay,
that I
yeah.
never did. I was like, oh, guard's stupid. I'm gonna take him down and I'm gonna be on
Right.
top. So now I'm like, I'm gonna pull guard. I'm gonna keep pulling guard until
Right.
until it's efficient or efficient enough. How do they usually treat you at other schools? Fairly good. Or
Yeah, I think that's what's pretty cool overall about the jiu-jitsu community is just it's a brotherhood. You can go globally anywhere, and you're like, oh, you do jiu-jitsu? And you
Yeah.
just get that head nod, and you're welcome at our gym.
Yeah, they're
for
not
the
trying to
most
tear your
part.
head off.
Yeah, so my
Yeah.
experience has been pretty awesome.
Yeah, yep. Because I feel like depending, if you get too many egos, you might have
Right.
that problem. You're like, oh, I'm just here to train and have fun.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't want to.
That's another thing that's kind of cool about jiu-jitsu. Like you can literally drive to California or wherever and go train with a legend.
Yep.
Essentially, pay whatever money,
Pay their mat fee. Yeah.
fair amount, and train with pretty much whoever you want. I mean, you can't do that in like baseball, hockey, football, whatever.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. You kidding me? Or go work with Floyd Mayweather for a little bit.
Right.
Or
Yeah,
something,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Not gonna
we're
happen.
blessed.
Yeah,
That's what's beautiful about jiu-jitsu, I think.
yeah. And I think, and hopefully it catches on more. But as it progresses, I'd like to see athletes get paid a little bit more. too,
Yeah, I
mean,
know.
that's one thing, and maybe eventually be an Olympic sport. That'd be awesome. wouldn't
Right.
it?
Yeah,
At the end of
Olympics
the
don't
day.
get paid anything in the Olympics either, though.
Yeah,
Unfortunately,
that's true. It's true.
Would be
but,
cool though.
I mean, yeah, it
to
would
see
just
it.
put it more on the map. I
Yeah,
mean, not that it's
Taekwondo's
not-
there, right?
Yeah,
in the Olympics.
Yeah, I mean, there you go. Point fighting. Might as well just have jiu-jitsu on there too.
Right.
Keep
More people
anything-
need to get choked.
Yeah, anything you can do to build it up, right? Just to get more people aware of it. I mean, that's what we're doing, spreading awareness right now
Right.
of it. So now that you're getting a little bit older into the sport, not that you're old, but you know what I'm
yeah,
saying.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
getting now you're dealing with more
Old
injuries.
man.
I mean, are you are you feeling that mobility is more important? I see you
Absolutely.
working on that all the time.
That's
now.
I think that's my foundation. If anybody comes to me and says, "Hey, like I want to train more jiu-jitsu, but what should I do to get better off the mat
Mhm.
if I can't train with people?" And my number one thing is like mobility. And for me, that's a little bit more big picture. My goal is to bring that more to the sport. I'm sort of like rebranding my stuff online. I want to be like BJJ, Movement Evolution.
Yeah.
Because I just think that yoga's great and like that gymnastic natural, but I think there's still a gap in the jiu-jitsu field of movement, mobility, and then also a translation or a direct translation of when you're doing this movement pattern, how's that helping your jiu-jitsu?
Right.
There's not like a lot of there's solo drills, of course,
Mhm.
but there's not like a nice organized system of showing you like this movement that you're doing translates right to a guard pass or to a XYZ.
Yeah.
So that's what my goal is, to start filling in that gap.
Yep, because you see a lot of like in resistance training and stuff, you can see certain things that carry over and don't.
Sure.
But then and people will know, if you have a really strong deadlift, okay, that'll help you with picking someone up
right,
here.
right.
But a lot of people will say, I go to yoga, so I'm more flexible. But how
Right.
and why? What,
Exactly.
what do you want to be more flexible at? Like
Absolutely.
where? So I see like a big thing that I noticed, and I'm not an expert in mobility, but good scap mobility, so you can move your shoulder more, take it through the range of motion. Am I sweating? Taking your shoulders through a good range of motion, and then obviously hip mobility is huge.
Right.
Yep. So yeah, I see you working on a lot of that stuff, and that's where it needs to go, man. Especially as people get older, to
Right.
avoid injury.
Quality of life.
Yep. And there's a difference between like passive flexibility, like to what someone else can put your legs to,
Mhm.
compared to how you can move your legs, right? And there's actually that gap in between there can be an injury if someone forces it too hard,
Right.
you're gonna tear something.
Mhm.
So yeah, that's awesome what you're doing there. Now, do you get into any supplementing too with your as far as diet? And
Yeah, I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for 11 years, very strict. And one of my concerns too is I just had some blood work done, and my doctor was like, "I know you're going to be deficient at something." He was kind of because he does he's into like sports and stuff too, and just knows what jiu-jitsu is. And he just said that he was sort of not excited, but he's like, "Yeah, let's see what you're deficient. I guarantee you are." And my blood work was perfect.
Wow.
I think maybe I'm an outlier because I don't pay attention. I do a lot of fasting. I eat once, maybe twice a day.
Really?
I train 2 to 3 times a day. I burn a lot of calories.
Yeah.
But for some reason, like homeostasis, man, I found like a perfect spot for me.
Yeah.
So I definitely think people need to eat more plants. I
Oh
think
yeah.
a lot of processed stuff needs to be cut out.
Gone,
Whole
yeah.
foods, and then experiment with anything for 30 days. I think
Yeah.
people don't.
They don't give it enough time,
Yeah.
right? When they're trying something like, oh, it didn't change in a week, so I give up.
know, yeah, it's tough. Like I get it, but man, 30 days. You have to give it a good 30 days of whatever you're trying.
So it's been how long since you've had meat? 10 years?
11 years.
Wow,
yeah.
nice, dude. And you don't even need to supplement any kind of protein or
I
anything,
don't.
right?
Like people
Yeah.
are like, where do you get your protein?
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. My body just comes up with it.
Yeah.
Because
Well, it's so funny because people are like, oh, if you don't get enough protein, you're not going to be able to this, that, or whatever. And
Right.
it's like, it's actually, I think it's overrated, and
yeah.
even in like the bodybuilding world, when people are trying to gain muscle or something,
Right.
they're like, oh, I'm going to eat 2 grams per every pound of body weight. It's like,
Right.
that's way too much, man.
Have fun. Your
Yeah.
kidneys are gonna love
Yeah,
that.
they're gonna shut down. You're gonna be plugged up. You're not gonna be able to use the bathroom.
I know.
Like you're gonna feel like crap, man. Like, yeah. So eating whole foods, real foods, right?
Yes.
And then as far as supplements,
Yeah, I've been playing with like nootropics. Like I'm really interested in. I know like On It has Alpha Brain, and there's there's a bunch of stuff out there. So
Yeah.
that's something I'm actually developing like my own blend of stuff right now. I'm gonna try to come up with a vegan type of protein, vegetarian with some nootropics in it. So I'm currently developing this formula and maybe long term turning that into a little side hustle
Yeah.
of some sort. But I'm just like so just interested, obsessed with that whole movement of developing in that direction.
Yeah. Do you notice a difference when you're taking nootropics?
I do, and that's why I got a little bit just crazy about it because I had a buddy, he was telling me about it. Ben Greenfield is this other biohacker I listen to. Yeah, so
he's good.
You can go down the rabbit hole with him, man.
Oh,
it's a little crazy.
That dude will try anything too,
I
won't
know, I know. It's awesome, and he's cool because he answers questions too. I'll DM him and stuff, and he's just another cool guy.
he? Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, just so I'm just really interested in nootropics and how that could help people and combining with whole foods and
Yeah. I mean, what's it
pretty
help
simple.
with like mental clarity and focus?
yeah. So
all
here's
that
an
stuff?
example. I started getting on it last summer, and I remember the Rotolo twins. You know those? They're with Galvao, but they were with the AOJ. They're 2 twins. They're not even blue belts yet because they're
Two
not old enough.
beasts.
Yeah.
And,
kids. Yeah.
Yeah, so they went and did a seminar at a local school, and man, they're awesome, and they were showing so much stuff. But I just remember, you go to a 3-hour seminar, and about an hour into it, maybe an hour and a half, you're sort of like, you're there, but you're
Yeah. I'm not retaining any of this anymore, right?
But I just remember this laser like intense focus on the next thing that they're showing. I don't even know how to describe it. I was just way into it more than I normally would be because we've all done seminars or 3 hours.
Oh,
and you're
man, yeah.
ready to be done after
You're
90
ready to like,
minutes.
"Oh, I'm gonna go eat. Or I gotta use the bathroom.
Right.
Like, is this over?
Yeah, and it was at that moment I was like, oh man, the correlation was I just started these nootropics and just a special blend, and so that sort of convinced me that
Yeah.
I could feel it.
Do you ever mess around with those like mushroom supplements too, like
Not
chaga
yet, but
and all that?
yeah, I know what you're
stuff, too?
talking about.
Yeah,
Not yet,
reishi.
though.
Okay. Go
Did it like help you focus?
Yeah, I can't even tell you like.
Huh. I wonder if that could be like an alternative to. I mean, it's healthy, right? As
mean,
far as we know.
Yeah, alternative to
I mean,
like ADHD medicine. and stuff
ADHD,
like
right?
that.
Yeah. 'Cause instead of Ritalin and Adderall and all those
Jiu-jitsu
horrible drugs.
nootropics, that'll cure the world.
Yeah,
Boom.
dude, honestly, I
Don't
think,
tell anybody that.
Yeah, I just think kids, getting out and playing a sport or a martial art like this would help with tons of the issues that are out there, the aggression,
Right.
all that. I had like a little self-defense, anti-bullying thing I was doing for a little bit out here, and dude, just the difference it makes, just getting kids to feel like
Not
they're
sticking them in front of a TV.
and they're
Go
empowered,
outside and
right?
play, yeah.
They learn something. They know how to stick up for themselves if someone's picking on them. That comes back to jiu-jitsu or martial arts in general. I mean, now does your oldest train with you at all, or
No?
not yet?
It's funny. A lot of academy owners that I know personally, their kids don't seem to train in the martial arts. It's like this riddle that I'm not sure why. I think because all my kids grew up on the mats seeing classes, and I think it's not novel to them. Maybe
Yeah.
that's why, or maybe it's just not their personality. So I don't want to speak for them, but
right.
but it's not novel, where
Sure.
other people come in and they look at me as something way different than
This
Dad.
is all new.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, because my oldest doesn't want anything to do with it. When I
Yeah.
was having the class here, I was like, "Hey, you want to come out?" Sure. She came out to 1, and she sat out for like the whole time. Like,
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, my oldest, he just wants to like run around and play and jump on kid. He has no understanding of what. I tried to show him an armbar. He's like, "Nah, I'm just gonna jump on your head and scratch your eyes."
Right,
Like,
yeah.
okay, thanks.
He doesn't care about the technique, right? It's
No,
just,
no.
let's just play.
I'm hoping if I bring him around it enough that he'll fall in love
Yeah.
with jiu-jitsu eventually. He's
Yeah,
young, man. He's a kid.
dude. I mean, that's
Can't
the
force
thing.
it.
Yeah, you can't force it. You just gotta, hopefully they see it from someone else. Besides, it's sad. It's like, hey, I'm your dad. You want to learn it from me? And then they see someone else doing it. They're like, well, that's kind of cool. That guy does it.
Yeah.
You're like, gee, thanks.
I didn't want to learn stuff from my parents either, so I get it.
Yeah, as a kid, your parents don't know anything, right? I mean,
Right.
that's what they think, anyways.
We want to rebel as
Yeah.
kids. Yeah.
Yeah. So you do a lot of fasting, right?
Yes.
Have you ever done like an extended fast too, like over 24 hours?
So my toughest one, I try to train 2 to 3 times a day. When my knee was healthy, it was 2 to 3 times a day, just jujitsu, and then sometimes I'd supplement with easier mobility stuff. So man, my toughest time was just a 2-day fast, but I trained 3 times each day.
Ooh.
And man, I had to break that fast after it was really rough. So
what do you do? I mean, do you just drink water? Or do you have coffee too?
I do coffee. I put like some soy milk in it, but I don't put like sugar or flavoring or you know what I mean. So I try to, and I know even now some people say that even coffee breaks the fast. So it's
I thought it was calories, but I don't know.
I've heard just water. Like some people when they fast are like, oh, you can only drink water.
Yeah, I've heard all
makes
the
sense.
I've
I
heard
guess
any sugar breaks it. I've heard the different theories. But how does that make you feel when you're in a fasted state?
awesome.
Right?
Like I'm on the hunt the whole time. It just goes back to primal. You're aware. You're hyper aware.
And then your food tastes better too, right? When you finally
I think
do
so.
eat.
Yeah.
Because I noticed, like I when I do a fast like that or you're so busy, you're not even fasting on purpose. You just didn't eat yet. That first meal you get, everything tastes so much better, right? You're like, man, like this
Jocko
salad
talks
tastes
about
so
it.
good.
He does 3 days, 72-hour fast, and what does he say?
That dude's intense.
He's super intense.
Yeah.
He's like, it makes me appreciate being the food. I don't remember what he said.
Oh
but
yeah,
I'm like,
it'll make you appreciate your food.
Gratitude.
Yeah, I mean, do you have like a certain approach that you take to your nutrition, to like a mental approach you take to make sure that you're always eating the right foods?
Boy, I wish I could say that. Like when I'm eating clean, my ideal diet is just eggs and greens.
Yeah.
And then after a 16-hour fast, 2 meals of eggs and greens. That's optimal for me.
So you don't need to mentally prepare yourself to do that. It's just habit.
The hardest thing is being around other people like my kids or whatnot. They they like just junkier food, and it's harder for me if we go out to eat or something. It's hard to be disciplined.
Yeah.
If I was a monk and lived by myself, I think it'd be a bit easier. But
because the only
still
thing
think you're pretty good, man.
Yeah.
You asked me earlier, like, hey, you guys want to get some food? I'm like, I don't think James eats like once a week.
Yeah.
And you laughed, and I'm like, no, he really doesn't eat that much.
Hey, that works, man.
Pretty disciplined.
I was gonna buy, so I was like, all right, cool. I don't have to buy food.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, I've noticed that too, though. The food tastes better when you do, and like you said, you are hyper aware when you're not slowed down by like a big breakfast or something like that, and
you just don't get tired. Like
you can
as soon as I eat food, I'm like, man, I'm a little sleepy now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I had a guy on.
It's crazy.
Was it like a week ago? Maybe I was talking to him. I haven't put the episode up yet, but he was telling me about a wellness guy that he had on his podcast. Have you heard of Mind Pump before?
Yeah.
So I had Sal on actually, and he was telling me about a guy he did an episode with, and he said it was real weird. The guy would like close his eyes and like pray over his food before he ate it, and it was just communicating like with the food, it's just a mental hack, like, hey, I want this food to do this and this for me, like I want it to help me with energy or help me feel better, as opposed to like
that's interesting.
Most people just get that food and scarf it down, and they don't even know afterwards they feel like crap.
Right.
So
that's pretty much what I do.
Yeah, right. He said just taking that 30 seconds and just even asking like, is this food going to help me or is this food going to hurt me?
Well, so it sounds like hoodoo voodoo, but man, I went through this period where I was actually pretty strict about something similar. There's this book, The Secret Life of Plants, and then there's a sequel, The Secret Life of Cells, and I read the books, and this guy like put EKGs up on plants just to figure out if they feel things, or
Yeah.
and when you would cut them or cut leaves, they would scream. It was like a form of screaming, right?
Yep.
And so it's just weird that the book was awesome because then he would pray to them or
Yeah.
communicate, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he would say, okay, I'm preparing you. I'm going to cut you, whether you're picking fruit off of it, actually cutting it. And he said the plant wouldn't scream. And
Yeah.
for whatever reason, this like stuck with me that we're all connected. Everything is, right?
Yeah.
So I went through this like weird thing where it was during summer, and I did some like growing, green
just-
beans and stuff.
Yeah, your own
And,
little garden or something.
Yeah, and I would like prepare it, right? The plant before I would pick it. When I would eat it, I would do the same thing. I didn't pray to it. In a
Yeah,
sense,
yeah.
but it was gratitude,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah,
And
thank
that
you
it's
for
becoming me, and
Yeah.
And it's weird that you say that when you look back on certain periods of your life and you're like, oh, it's going well.
Yeah.
Why did I stop that?
Yeah, that did.
just
and
makes
did it
me,
work,
like,
right? You notice the
yeah.
difference a little bit? I mean, whether it's mental or whether it was legit.
Whatever it
like,
is, yeah.
Yeah, he said it technically wasn't praying, but it just looked like it the way he was.
Right.
He was thinking about, talking to the food, pretty much communicating
Right.
with it. And there's gardeners that do that, man. They sing to their plants
Yes.
and stuff. And
Yes. And it makes a difference.
Yeah, I mean,
It's crazy.
Yeah, I know. You wouldn't think about
Sounds
that.
so
right?
wacky.
Yeah,
Levels,
yeah.
man. Rabbit holes and
Some guy singing
Yep.
to his plants like, all right, he's
This dude's crazy, right? But I mean, there you go. There's levels again, and that even goes to meat. Like how you
Right.
treat the animals.
Absolutely.
It's going to taste better. Humanely raised food tastes better than
feed
that
them the right
factory.
foods, yeah.
Yeah, factory farm stuff. You can taste it.
Yeah.
Just like fresh kill, like when Joe Rogan goes hunting, or
Mhm.
something he always talks about.
Oh,
That
the
elk that he got. Yeah, he's obsessed with
I
it. Right?
drool over his
Some-
pictures.
yeah, some of those
It's
pictures,
so
like,
good.
man.
I've never had an elk.
Yeah,
But
but I
would
mean,
love
like
to.
he's just saying, like how when they're, they're like that versus when they're raised in a little farm in a
Yeah.
confined space. So it's not the same.
Yeah, he treats his chickens like pets. He
Oh,
even
yeah.
said he goes out and like hangs out with them, feeds them.
Oh yeah, hanging. Yeah, he's like the chicken whisperer.
He explained it really well to him too, because apparently I didn't know this. This is how ignorant I am to chickens, but they just like lay eggs all the time.
Yeah,
Which I didn't know.
Every
this
day, pretty
I'm
much.
not.
You can get.
I'm not
Yeah.
a farmer. I'm a city guy, but
I
people
had
probably
some out
laugh
here
when they hear
before.
that. But he's like, I give them food, I give them a good home, I take care of them, and they give me eggs. He's like, it's a really fair trade-off. I'm like, that's really interesting. So I
Yep.
mean, for vegan, as far as I know, vegans don't eat eggs. If I was a
Yeah.
vegan, I think that's a good loophole. I'd be eating eggs all the time. I
Yeah.
love eggs.
I mean, you're vegetarian. You can
Vegetarian,
eat
right? I
eggs,
eat
right?
eggs, yeah.
Now,
Vegetarian.
is
Vegan.
fish? No, that's
Anything
not,
with a face, I don't
okay.
eat.
Okay. Now eggs, I mean, and if you just have all chicks, all females, like hens, I guess it'd be, none of them are fertilized either. So,
Right.
you just eat all those eggs. You don't have to worry about like if you have a rooster there and have like
Right.
a fertilized egg or something. Yeah, I had a bunch here, but they get me mad because they like to, if they didn't go back in their coop at night, sometimes they'd sleep like perched up on a vehicle. And then they'd poop in their sleep all down my windshield
Oh,
of the
that's
car.
nice.
I was like, all right, I've had enough of you guys.
Yeah.
Like I'd come out and then, so let's say they perch on top of your car. Then let's say they poop down your windshield. Where does it go? It goes into your vents, right? So then you turn your heat on in the car and it smells like you're at like a fair or something.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, I smell like I'm at the fair right
Right.
now, like a hillbilly.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
This isn't cool. So yeah, those guys drive me crazy. So anyways, health and wellness, huge for you, right? Nutrition.
Yes.
Now, do you offer like any other besides martial arts programs? Do you have like fitness programs you take people through too, or do you?
Not personally. We have some fitness classes.
Yeah.
A lot of ladies go to. My girlfriend teaches them, so it's not a huge component. It almost like holds her accountable to work out, which is awesome for her. And then it's great for our students, like their parents get involved, so it helps retention for the academy. I think it's a really healthy thing. But no, not too much for other fitness classes or anything right now.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. Now, what do you think about? I'm going to switch it up a little bit here. What do you think about social media's impact on all of this? Just on the health and wellness side, on the jiu-jitsu side? Yeah, right?
So, it's super healthy. I try to look at everything, almost everything as a positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and that's the other thing is like people get in debates about. I have my own Facebook group that I had started. It's like free drills and skills for BJJ, and someone just posted on there like, hey, what do you guys think about getting stripes for or rank for like certain number of classes, or you have to compete or this or that? And that's another thing. It's like it depends on the instructor.
Mhm.
It depends on where you want to train. Do you want to be a jiu-jitsu athlete and that's what you want to do is compete? Well, then you need to find that instructor.
Yeah.
And the things that come to you because of that are what you're into.
Right.
But if
mean-
you're in it for self-defense and you're going to someone that competes, like, you guys aren't going to mesh.
Mhm.
So I just think it's for everybody, and within that realm, you just have to find which slot do you fit in.
Yeah.
You know, there's just so much needless debate out there. It becomes negative on social media.
Yeah. I mean,
You
at
know?
the end of the day, there's tons of stuff you can learn on the internet. Hey, but then take it and drill it or try it.
Absolutely.
And use it in class. Don't try it out on the street.
Right,
you know,
right.
Try it and see if it works. You know, there
Right.
you go. Boom, problem solved. Right. You know, like, oh, this won't work. Try it. Maybe it will. You know, there's tons of weird stuff I've gotten, off random videos, like when I follow the Mendez brothers or something.
Yes,
like,
I
try
know.
that. You know, like
I know.
whatever. If it works, it works. If it doesn't,
Right.
what happened? Okay, I wasted 5 minutes. You know.
I know, and I'm like a huge man. Again, I just love Hoffa, so I try to break down myself because I didn't belong to a subscription academy, so he would do something that I didn't understand. I'd get together with a buddy and figure it out, and then I'd post it. I'd get a ton of like BJJ Eastern Europe. I remember had reposted one of my Instagram things.
Yeah.
And I got so much hate about saying how that wouldn't work. That's just so. It was a barren bowl.
Oh, was it the one that went viral that everybody was?
Yeah, and I didn't say I invented it anyway. I was like, man, I'm just a copycat. Like, I'm not saying. And all these people were hating, including black belts. I'm like, guys, you see Hoffa Mendez, his blue belt students pulling this off. I'm not saying I can. I think it's cool. I like to train it, but don't say it doesn't work when there's proof out there. Like, there's these closed-minded black belts even.
Yeah.
I was just awestruck by I just felt like they're ignorant. You know what I mean? Saying it doesn't work.
Dude, with jiu-jitsu, you have to keep an open mind.
Everything
right?
works.
Yeah.
Pour 10,000 hours into it, I guarantee it will work.
It's all about timing.
Yep.
Just when all of that, like you said, anything will work as long as
Absolutely.
you can hit it at the right time or use their momentum to land it. Yeah, I mean, as far as the Mendez brothers, again, have you seen how they break down techniques though when they do?
Yeah, so I
break
did
something down?
subscribe it after a little bit, and love it, man.
They'll spend 30 minutes breaking something down. You know, if
Yeah.
you could watch a 30-minute video of just one thing, they go into details. I think that's huge, you know,
Right?
because people can skip a lot of steps, you know, when they're just
I have.
yeah. Well, because you're showing it.
Yeah, you don't know what
like,
you.
Oh, that's a given. You know, it's a given. You grab the collar there. It's a given. You know,
Right.
you're gonna pull their arm up when you're passing or something. You know, but like they'll break it down to every fine detail. You're like, all right, little pressure here and this and that.
Right.
And that's probably why they're so good. They don't miss anything.
Got to be.
Yeah.
So again, with the social media, I think it's a totally positive thing. I stopped reading comments.
Just don't even pay attention, right?
Which is tough because you go down the rabbit hole and you're infuriated. And you're like, man, that was.
Come over here. I'll try it on you, right?
I know. Yeah, right.
Like that'd never work on me. You're like, you know what, dude? I'm a black belt. You're a white belt or a blue belt. I guarantee you, any of this will work on you.
That's mostly the people that tend to comment too. Is like,
yeah, like you said. So social media, it can be positive as long as you just cancel out the noise.
It's a magnifier, isn't it?
Yeah.
How many people do you know in person that you think they're sort of a negative person?
Yeah.
And go look at their Facebook page.
Yeah.
It's just a lot of poor me's or this. It's just a magnifier for who you are.
Yep.
I think.
Yep.
When do you think you're eligible to have an opinion on topics of jiu-jitsu? Like what rank? Because everyone says you're a white belt, you don't know anything. You're a blue belt, you don't know anything. And it's like, so when do you become?
I disagree, man. I think you can learn from any belt, right? I mean, it just
there's people that disagree with that.
Yeah. Well, honestly, there's been other belts, other whites and blues even that like I'm like, oh man, how'd you do that? Especially if you're rolling with someone in their lower belt than you and they get you in something.
Yeah.
How'd you do that, dude? Because that's not supposed to happen, right? So I don't think there's a cut up button. However, in online or social media land, I take it with a grain of salt, right?
Everything.
Yeah. I mean, and there's like you said, there's so many videos. There's so many instructional
it's
videos now.
overwhelming. Yeah.
You could spend hours and hours, and I don't know. I mean, who you're into now as far as do you watch a lot of competitions too, or?
That's another thing I've noticed about myself. So I have like my little mastermind partner. I sort of isolate myself, and then I go outside that bubble if I have questions about what we're working on. Because I find it more helpful now at this rank to make myself come up with the answers. Or, boy, I almost say like I can't. I'm not coming up with anything new. I don't have that big of an ego. But when I discover it or I teach it to myself and learn it, it's way more impactful than if I just saw a quick 30-second Instagram clip of something.
Yeah.
So I have my favorite guys I watch compete, of course, but I really just internalized jiu-jitsu a lot more in this past, you even call it 2 years. Just
Yeah. Yep. Do you watch any like the EBIs too, or do you watch IBJJFs or? Yeah,
but just I tend to watch just certain people, or if there's a game I'm interested in, I'll watch that.
Yeah.
But,
you have certain that you like right now or that are hot right now that. I like Craig Jones. I don't
Yeah,
know if you.
it's hard to ignore people like that.
Yeah.
How do you
Yeah.
say you're not
dude.
interested in a winner?
Yeah. And
So-
that dude, I don't know if you watched the EBI 14. I talk about this all the time, but he was like less than 1 minute of mat time, and he already submitted 3
Yeah,
people.
yeah. I remember seeing that and reading about that, and it was just
Dude, that's insane, man. You're like against the best people in the world in
I know.
15 seconds is all it takes for you to heel hook someone. And
Gives you hope.
yeah,
Right?
Does not. It actually, I don't know. It is the opposite. It scares me. I'm like, man.
Well, yeah,
no,
too.
yeah. But I still, Gordon Ryan still holding
Yeah.
it down. But yeah. So anyways, I switch it up. One thing we talked about before, and we're kind of hopping around here, but those amino acid injections.
Yeah.
I was kind of curious what was all involved with that? How'd they work?
Yeah, so boy, how did I come across it? I came across, they looked like vials, and I reached out to the company and I said, I was actually asking if they were interested in like a collaboration or something, so they sent me some free stuff, and it was amino acids, and the other thing they sent me, I honestly, I forget what it was. It was supposed to give you like a boost of energy. And so I checked with Ben Greenfield first because I've never heard of injecting amino acids.
Oh, yeah.
And so I DM'd Ben, like I know him and he's my buddy. But
like, what's up, buddy? How you
I know,
doing?
yeah. I'm like, hey, I'm just curious what your thoughts are on this. He's like, yeah, man, it's a go. Anytime you inject something, it's way better. I'm like, all right. And I've never done that myself. So, I got the vials. I got some syringes.
That's a little nerve-wracking, right? You're probably
totally.
shaking.
Right?
Yeah.
And then all I can think of is, am I going to put a bubble in me and die? Like
Yes,
trying to
yes,
get, you
right?
know what I mean?
Right.
But I'm still here.
Yeah,
All things went well. And I don't know. I didn't really notice a difference. So I didn't stick with it. I don't know if I gave it a fair shot or put enough in me, but
man, I don't know if I'm sticking a needle in myself. I better get some serious results.
I
right?
I know. Like it became easier, but man, yeah, the first time was.
Yeah, nerve wracking, right?
Well, in my notes, I wrote a will maybe to my kids, and just
like
in case.
Yeah, I'm experimenting right now with needles. Like, okay. Oh, that's funny. So, hey, real quick, how do you guys know each other again? I forgot to ask that.
Oh boy, Andrew came in.
I just signed up. Yeah.
Yeah, it's just as a student, and then you know what it was we both were into Gary Vaynerchuk. And,
Okay.
Yeah, that's
So-
how we really started working together.
Yeah, Andrew gave me. Remember that book you gave me, a signed copy?
I DM'd Gary V, and that dude's awesome. He as busy as he is, he still tries to reach out. I've actually talked to him a couple times, but luckily I told him, I messaged him on Instagram. I was like, hey bro, I'm like, I'll buy 5 books right now if you sign them. And he's like, make it 10, and I'm like, deal.
Yeah,
Not realizing
he's like a hard-nosed negotiator.
$200 in books.
Yeah.
My
Like,
girlfriend was not happy.
Yeah. How am I gonna sell these,
Her
right?
fiance at the time. I think we might have been engaged, saving for a wedding. No big deal.
So it's $20 a book.
$20 a
So you
book,
went and
about
sold them
10.
for 30. Right?
I know. I should have. I gave them all away though. I told him. I told Gary I'd give them away.
Oh, okay.
And I actually no. I take that back. I sold 5 of them to my cousin, and I gave the rest away. So
Okay.
$100.
Yeah.
And but still $100 for books.
Yeah, I know, right?
For the same book. But
Yeah.
I gave one to James, and then that's kind of where it
Gary has
started.
this guy like D-Rock was his
David
guy
Rock,
that
yeah.
would follow him around the camera.
Yeah.
And I don't know how exactly it came about, but I'm like, man, I want to do more, like film more content, put it out on Instagram, build a YouTube channel. Just, that was sort of my goal.
It's hard to do by yourself.
Yeah, totally.
It's hard to do with just 2 of us.
Yeah. Oh,
I don't even know where it started, but it. I just said I'll do it. Well, we had another guy that didn't really pull through. Actually, a couple people that.
Yeah.
And then I was like, dude, screw this. I just bought a camera. You know,
That's how it went.
Zero, and I mean 0 experience with the camera.
Just start
Besides my
playing with it,
phone.
right? Yeah.
0 experience with that. No photo or video editing skills. Nothing. I bought it. I got on YouTube and I started learning, and I still am. I'm not an expert by any means. I've only been doing it not even a year probably. I've been doing this, maybe a year.
Sounds just like jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
Buy a gi, go show up and figure it out, right?
I was about
Go on
6
YouTube.
months into training, I think, when we really started
Nice.
doing the YouTube. And
Yeah. So I mean, I guess I can ask, what is your guys' kind of goal with that? Are you
good question.
yeah. I mean, do you have like an end game?
Yeah,
for that?
so I have a big picture end game when I'm in my maybe 50s, 60s, I guess, right? 20, 30 years from now, that when you wake up and you check your phone at 6 a.m., like what's one of the first couple things you look at?
Yeah.
Sounds
Facebook,
egotistical.
Instagram, right? Yeah.
I want it to be me.
Yeah.
So that's the level I'm going to get to. and not just jiu-jitsu people, you know?
Yeah, health, wellness, mobility.
Yeah, so I've always been a huge like Tony Robbins fan. 6th grade Walkman, that's what I would listen to on the bus, and he, that type of self-development always impacted me. So that's where my big picture. That's where I want to get to. So right now we're practicing like pumping content out there, seeing what works, what doesn't.
That's the hard part, man.
Yeah,
it's hard.
And then trying to move. So we had a goal of doing 120 videos in 120 days, just like committing to just like not a vlog, but just a video a day on YouTube.
Day, which is a lot harder than you think.
It is. My mom passed during this time. Like I had some big struggles, and so we were plugging along pretty good, and then a couple things happened. But once we have all that content up, I really wanted to maybe cross the realm into, I hate to call it motivational, because I don't want just like, I don't believe in just putting fluff out there that has no meaning behind it, just some words. But I just think jiu-jitsu changes lives, and someone whose life has been changed can help other people change. And I'd just love to be the catalyst in somebody's life. You know? So
I mean, just put awesome content out there, right? That people can change lives. Like you said, I mean, that's probably the biggest thing, right? I mean,
absolutely.
And it's so far, it's going well with the page, and like you said, you respond to people that reach out to you too. So
like Proud BJJ, who you just had on.
Cool dude, very cool. I never met him personally. But he always shares my posts.
Yeah, he's good, dude. Good dude. Actually, that's how I met him. I got my blue belt last year. That's actually, they shared the post, and I was like, oh, cool, okay. And then I was like, well, when I start doing this podcasting a little more, and I have it kind of figured out. I still don't have it figured out, but I don't think anybody really has it figured out. It's changing all the time, but. I was like, I'm gonna try to meet them, have them on. And I found out they're local. It's like, oh yeah, for sure, let's do it. Yeah. And actually, they're the ones who told me to reach out to you. So yeah. Anyway, sorry. So they, another guy, like you said, they're
the connections you make. Again, just going back to social media, it's just it's priceless. Like the connections you'll make after a year of just DMing people. Talking about whatever, I'm going to buy this rash guard from this guy. You get to know him, or like Want versus Need. They've been super awesome. Al, and just something silly. I bought a gi, posted it, tagged him in it. And he reached out to me a little bit. Hey, do you have a sponsor? I'm like, no. And just have this great relationship. And man, even like when my mom passed, he sent me flowers. And it's something silly like that. I don't really know him. You know what I mean? I know him not very well. And something like that, you just... you remember forever some little thing like that.
Yeah, that sounds like that grew kind of organically too. It wasn't forced. Like you just
right.
I bought your gi. I like it. Oh, okay, cool. Well, hey, do you want a sponsor? Like, it's not like some of the people that are like, hey, I'm looking for a sponsor.
Chasing,
give me a sponsorship and I'll wear your gi. Like you've never even bought a gi from us, right? Like,
right.
You sure you want to wear it? Have you tried it on yet?
Gimme. Yeah.
Yeah. Give me more, and then I'll put one post up with tag you guys, hashtag you guys, and that's it, right? But how does that work with sponsorships anyways now? I mean, do you have just the one, right, for now, or do you...
Yeah, so the other cool thing about it, at least with Instagram, people send me free stuff a lot just to, like, in exchange for a post or some supplements. They'll pay me a certain amount for so many posts and give me free products. So that's the other huge benefit, I think, of social media. If you stick with it and you just keep trying to build, like, your brand, that a lot of opportunities will absolutely unfold for you without having to push it, you know? So with Want versus Need, like, they reached out to me, and he was, the first one to offer a sponsorship. So, just so much gratitude for him and in the gear he's able to hook me up with. And everybody has, with different companies, different relationships with their sponsors. So it's hard to say where that can go with anybody. If you're an awesome athlete, maybe you'll make some cash, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But I just encourage everybody to start building your own brand,
Yeah. And that can be tough, right? Building the brand. I mean,
it's just consistency. I mean, that's the toughest part.
And deciding what you want to, where you want to go with it, right? And what your, like you said, your end goal is. Is it just to be this cool guy, or do you want to help people, or do you want to be this jiu-jitsu guy? Everybody just knows you for that. And that's hard with anything, right? I mean,
but see, as I grew a little bit and I just try to help people selflessly, I'm not looking for anything out of anybody. Just get out there, serve, whatever that means to you. I don't know, like, just serve, bottom line.
Be there, man, and respond. Like, I got people that message me too. I don't have like a huge following, but sometimes you're looking at like, man, I'm so busy and it's almost an inconvenience, right? You're like, but just do it. Just respond.
Right? To do it.
Yep. You just got to be there and show up, just like jiu-jitsu. Keep showing up. Yeah. Now, was there anything else we wanted to touch on here? I kind of going through the list here. I got most of my stuff here, but was there anything you wanted to touch? Any interesting stories you wanted to share?
Yeah, we covered a lot of that. I just mentioned like once or twice, my mom had passed, and that was like, it was really obviously painful. She had been sick for a while, and I was visiting her in a hospital 2 or 3 times a day. And one of the, I guess, most impactful things, it got so bad she had to have like a tracheotomy. She wasn't able to speak at the end, and so communication was often a challenge or a struggle. And she had decided to basically kind of go terminal weaning, like end her life. She was so miserable. And I knew that it was coming, right? And she just kept saying, she called me Jimmy, I just, like, she'd be mouthing, and I can't keep going. I'm in so much pain. I'm tired of being in a hospital, immobile. So it's coming. And man, I remember asking her one day, I'm like, man, Mom, like, what do you want from me? Like, if you had some sort of life advice, like, I need something. You know what I mean? Because I'm struggling too. I'm watching my mom go away. And I'm thinking, okay, what does your mom want for you? Like,
right.
The first thing that comes to my mind would have been like, I'm thinking, because if my kids asked me, I'd be like, be happy.
Yeah, happy.
Whatever that means. And she didn't say that. Like, I paused for a second because she starts mouthing. She goes, just keep moving forward, And I was like, wow, really? Like, you're supposed to say be happy.
Yeah. Settle. Be happy, right? That's kind of what it sounds like when they say that, be happy. But
so I really embrace that and just keep moving forward. Embrace the struggle. On our YouTube channel, the opening video on there is the hero's journey, because when you start studying marketing and you sell whatever it is, a t-shirt, a service, people want to hear a story. And they teach you to sell a story.
Yeah.
Not your product. And it's often called the hero's journey, because every hero has some sort of, they go through their journey, there's a struggle, but then they overcome it. And that's what you sell people, is a story.
Yeah.
If you look at really good marketing. And I was like, man, that really correlated with what my mom said, just keep moving forward, one foot in front of the other. There's a struggle, but just embrace it. So I feel like there's a lot of days when, oh man, today sucks, or I got injured, I got this. I've really tried to take like what my mom said and thinking about the hero's journey and reframe every struggle in my life and just say,
here's a chance to,
this is the hero's journey. I'm in it right now.
Yeah.
This is the hero's journey.
Yeah. Every day. And no matter what. Yeah. So no matter how bad it is, here's my chance to rebound. Here's my chance to bounce back. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, I like that. Did you have any other actually major influences that kind of helped you get to where you are now, or?
So like I said, it was funny. As a 6th grader, I'm listening to Tony Robbins cassette tapes on the bus. And I got into that because my instructor at the time was really into self-development. And that's something that I'll always credit him with, my Taekwondo instructor, just always developing yourself. So I think he conditioned my mindset to always be reading and listening and consuming media that's going to help me, whatever that means. Readers are leaders. And so that helped my mindset. I was always able to go to a book or find information that I needed. And I think that's also a missing component, just the mind, like a mind coach if you had one, or
mental coaches
popular, right?
Oh, yeah. Man, they're huge in any sport now, right? I mean, any professional sport, everyone's got one.
So I just think as hard as you train in the gym, as many reps as you pump out, you need to have that other side to you that
you need
that
the
you're
mental.
developing.
Yeah, that's good. No, Tony Robbins is a big one. Gary V, right? He's a big one.
Yeah, he can be. There's someone out there for you. Gary V may not be for you. Tony Robbins may not be, but you gotta, man, motivation. It's like
you almost always have to have a mentor. Even mentors have mentors.
Yeah,
Everyone
they all
has
say
one.
It.
Yeah, because if you don't look up to anyone, then you're looking down on everyone, right? And now, what good is that?
Right.
Everyone's either below you or you're equal. Everyone needs to have a superior, no matter what. I mean,
chase something.
Yep. Even the Mendez brothers probably have a superior.
To.
Yeah, as beastie as they are.
Right.
Yep. For sure, man. Now, was there anyone you wanted to give a shout out to while we're on here?
Yeah, I really appreciate Want versus Need reaching out and being a sponsor. Man, who am I missing, Andrew?
Don't ask me.
Andrew, cameraman, we appreciate you coming.
The guy behind the camera. Thanks for having us, man. It was awesome getting to train with you guys and come here to your little studio, man.
Dude, yeah, thank you.
It.
Jamie, right?
Yeah, I'm Jamie.
Nice. If anyone's looking for you on Instagram, YouTube, all that, can you drop that?
Yeah, if
info?
you look on Instagram, Team James O'Connor, YouTube James O'Connor BJJ. Pretty easy to find me. Instagram will lead you everywhere, and
you're putting out new content video wise on YouTube. Is it like every other day or every few days?
yeah, we were doing really well daily. That's my goal, is to get something out daily, whether it's on Instagram, YouTube.
Yeah. Okay. And then I had one other thing that I cover with everyone that comes out is the technique of the week. Did you know what you wanted to do for that as far as a technique?
Boy, is there anything you need?
I need everything. So if you have a favorite or a go-to or something that's in your
I know what he's thinking.
4 month phase right now, is it 50-50 or what is it?
It's Berimbolo.
Is it?
It was, I would say Berimbolo or 50-50, because 50-50 I just started developing a bit more, and then Berimbolo just looks really cool.
Yeah,
awesome.
looks cool. Okay, so just something for the listeners to look out for on our YouTube. We can get a shot of you doing that. So cool, man. Well, that sums it up for me, man. I want to thank you guys for taking the time, man.
Thanks,
it was a
brother. Appreciate
long
it.
drive. Yeah,
Thanks for the opportunity.
All right, we're out of here. Hey, Jackie, did you happen to catch that choke I got on Timmy last night?
Yeah, what about it?
You want to know how I did it?
How?
Powertrain tape.
What?
Powertrain tape?
One more time?
I said powertrain tape. They have this amazing tape. It's great for all grapplers. If you go to their website, www.powertraintape.com, and if you use the code FitFarm, you can get 10% off your order.
Wow.
Yeah, it's incredible. Now go get you some.